Howdy folks, welcome to another painting session. I'm Dan. Not joined by Matty this morning yet. He seems to be having technical difficulties with Discord. So you'll just have to put up with me talking to myself until he sorts that out. So, last week I was painting barbarians. This week I'll paint some barbarians. But I've got a couple of housekeeping things to do before I get started. I have to put my goggles on for a start. And knock miniatures over too, apparently. So we figured out the general scheme for these guys. Leather pants, yellow toga / tunic-ish, and blue sash. So we'll do that. I have to replace the sheet in the wet palette first.
What's happening here?
Oh! Matty! You sound like you're at the bottom of a bin.
Pretty much, these are the cheapest, nastiest Bluetooth headphones that connect to my phone because I keep putting my nice expensive ones through the washing machine.
Oh no, you didn't do that again.
I did.
Oh boy.
Yes, within 3 weeks of getting them.
3 weeks, yeah, didn't think they were very old.
So I went down to the J car and I bought their cheap replacements.
Oh no. So 58-minute countdown to you dropping out because they run out of battery. Ask me.
Oh
no.
Yeah, okay, I haven't tried them with the call, but they do hold their battery life pretty well for playback, which is good.
Right. Well, I used
But
them.
they're not good headphones.
No, I used them in the first couple of. Well, in the first session we were doing the cyberpunk stuff. Yeah, 58 minutes done, flat. And it said,
Right, I remember that.
It said 3 hours, I think, on the box, and I went, okay. Obviously, their definition of hour is not the same as mine.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
I heard
A whining squeak?
Yes. No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Just my voice going whiny squeak.
Whiny and squeaky. Say hello, Kendra. Hello to the world. Cats on camera and all of that.
Yeah, people like that.
This one we affectionately refer to as football because that's her general shape. Her brother is long and lithe and lean, and she's not. But they weigh about the same amount, so go figure.
Go figure.
And because they're ragdoll cross chinchillas, there is now a cloud of hair everywhere.
Hey.
What I'll do is kick her out so she doesn't continue to hassle me. Now this will be good. A live stream of Dan chasing cat around the room, tripping over cords.
Well, it's all fun and games until you trip over the power cable.
Yeah.
Then you continue to have fun and games, and we just get nothing.
Yeah, this dull thump. That's it. There's stuff all over the place today. I was doing ether stream photography yesterday for the back cover of the box, and I haven't cleaned up.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, A couple of weeks ago I semi-ran out of secret sauce. And I basically chucked the rest of the bottle of strong tone into a spare container I had, threw an equivalent amount of mixing medium in on top of it, and got myself a ready mix. And that's worked so well, I'm doing it again.
That's how I do it. I mean, generally I use up what I put in a session, but
Yep.
I do have a pre-mixed formulation.
Half and half it.
Yeah, and a couple of drops of
Flow improver.
thingo. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still waking up a little bit this morning.
What is this waking up
Oh, I
you
didn't
speak of?
Yeah. Well, I didn't get to bed until very late.
Or very early, depending on your definition?
Well, for me.
No,
And
as in very early in the morning.
oh yeah, it was
3?
1 or 2 or something.
Alright.
But non-stop drinking
Now see,
from
I'm
5.
an old man. I can't
I
do
feel
that
like one.
anymore. Well, yeah. Now see, I probably feel the same way you do this morning, only there was no alcohol involved.
Probably.
So what am I going to do with that? Now that it's open. Swap it with the one I hadn't opened. Good plan, Dan. Good plan. So my catastrophic financial decision making continued during the week.
Okay. Are you buying plastic or metal?
Well, funnily
Because the price
enough,
of metal is just going up and up and up.
I
So if you hang on to it, you might be able to sell it and melt it down someday.
maybe. Well, I bought plastic, but they also sent me metal.
Oh.
So I had no idea they were coming. I mean, they've all got promo fig stickers on them, so presumably they were part of some promotion. I know the second wave stuff's just arrived for the epic scale Napoleonic because I ordered some of it. A box of Guard and a box of Highlanders.
I do like Highland.
Yeah. This is on top of the second set of starter boxes. That stuff came with the second set of starter boxes. So. Righto. Mixing medium in. Chuck some flow improver in over the top of that. And one ready mix bottle of secret sauce. And I've been watching some painting guides during the week about how to paint my French, and they use exactly this formula of secret sauce.
Well, there you go. Not so secret anymore.
I don't think it ever was. I think I learnt this off Sam Lenz. Right. Might even turn some more lights on. Put that away. Don't need that yet. Say that again.
I guess not.
I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, fair enough. Probably good with these cheap J-Cup microphones. So.
Possibly. You went a bit muffly. Okay, some barbarian flesh, some water. Some unpainted miniatures.
Just about ready to get started.
Yes. Carbonated caffeinated beverage. Oh. Cat hair in the wet palette. On the other side.
Wow.
What a surprise.
All bristly.
I tell you what, if you could turn ragdoll cross chinchilla cat fur into brushes, I'd have a cottage industry all on my own.
Isn't that how Leadbear got his start? Cat fur tufts.
Cat fur tufts. I've not heard that story, if indeed there is one. Oh, that's the other thing I got, along with the Brazilian Napoleonics. War and Peace Games were liquidating some tufts. And these are German by the look of them. So these ones have really nice flowers on the bushes. They would have to be for 28s. I can't see them. I think they're just way too big for 15s. They'd overpower the base. I mean, you have a look at those. They're nearly 10 millimeters high. There. So, anyhow.
Well, it's a good thing you've got a train layout.
I don't yet. I've got a hole where it's supposed to go. And I keep buying Napoleonics.
Well, you can run it through a forest of
tufts. This is it. So you got through some painting during the week?
Yeah, a little bit. Not as much as I would have liked because my week off never eventuated. But I do have a. Last week I did some skeletons with sides and Daughters of Cerebulus, probably to be renamed. And those are interesting, and check them out on the Demonworld Facebook group. The link's on the screen. What I'm currently working on is a unit of skeletal death knights.
Nice.
And they're about ready for a source and a shade, and then a lot of highlights because as up as I am on the speed paints, there's not that much variety in the range.
No.
And as I've said to Dan before, I'm a little bit disappointed in the greys because you've got grey, and that's about it.
Yeah, there's a brown grey, a blue grey, a white, and a very nearly black by the look of it.
Yes. the black is close to black, but it takes a lot to get a black out of it. Otherwise, it's a black grey.
Yeah. Well, if I look at my paint rack, just what I can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. 20 paints to go from black to white. Which is a bit silly, but never mind. Considering you can start with black and white and mix.
Hmm.
And everybody says, oh, you should mix your paints, you should mix your paints, you should mix your paints. And it's like, you try mixing paints to be consistent over 400 figures. Sorry. I'll let the manufacturers figure that out. And to go back and touch on that Apollonics for a minute, we're not talking 400 figures, we're talking 4,000 figures.
But that said, you need less paint to cover them.
This is true. They're quite small, and they're all moulded together in blocks of 10.
That's going to be difficult.
No. I've watched all the painting tutorials. It looks really easy.
Just thinking, blocks of 10, so 2 rows of 5 on a base.
No. Blocks of 10. Literally, they're moulded together in blocks of 10. So a stand...
10 in a single line?
Yeah. A stand is 20 inches, which is 2 lines of 10.
Right. Okay. I was thinking that it was 2 or 5 in your 10s.
No.
Well, that's better then.
A picture tells 1,000 words. With 20-second lag. So from the wider angle camera, you can see that that sprue's got 100 miniatures on it. It's actually more than that. It's 105. 6 if you count the cannon. So yeah, they individually they're quite small. But yeah, I watched a guy knock out a single stand of French, and I reckon I can probably do one of those in the time it would take me to two Demonworld units, I suppose. So we'll see. I'll time him. I might be being ambitious again.
Who? You?
Me, yeah. Who'd have thought? And 2 weeks ago, who thought it was a good idea to buy 4,500 miniatures? It's actually close to 5,000 now with that bloody Boxer Guard and the Highlanders.
They got to stop advertising nice things in their emails.
Silly idea.
I mean, I got that same email you did, I think, and thought, ooh, Highlanders.
Yep. Only you went, ooh, Highlanders, and moved on. I went, ooh, Highlanders, ooh, Guard, click, 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 ka-ching!
Yeah, well, to be fair, I was 2 or 3 pints deep at that point. I might have done something. About it.
Oh. What the...
Yeah, I was going ching, 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 ching.
All night.
elsewhere. And probably spent about the same amount.
With a different amount of product. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The best or the worst part, depending on your point of view, was that about 20 minutes, I think, after I got that email from War and Peace Games going, hey, we've got the second wave of Napoleonic stuff. Combat Company sent me an email going, this thing that you wanted back in stock is back in stock. I'm like, oh, click, 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 ching.
Oh, yeah.
And, Tower hammerheads have been impossible to get for 3 or 4 months. And the prices of some of them on eBay and whatever have been unbelievable. You know, people asking $110, $120 for a sealed box. So yeah, they came back in
I
stock.
suppose it's marginally better than feeding it into a poking machine.
Only if I open the boxes, pull the sprues out, glue them together, paint them, put them in the cabinet. But anyhow, I resolved that while I was away on my vacation, I resolved that I would collect enough to be able to finish that Tau army off and just get on with it. So I have a goal this year to get that Tau army done, as well as the Demonworld, as well as at least start the Napoleonics. I think I'm realistic enough to realise I'm not going to get them done this year. Okay, so this guy's got a bare torso. It's different.
He's bald.
He is. He hasn't got top knots, he's got side knots. It's like he's got braids of hair coming out from his temples and flowing down over his sash and his chest. So
Don't dare yank on them.
well.
Oh, as he will injure you.
Unless you've been invited to, I suppose. So yes, more uncontrolled financial catastrophe. I have to stop. I've already spent.
You want me to take away your credit cards?
No.
Stick them in the post and mail them to me.
Right.
Give me all your numbers.
And the pins, so that you can keep the pins.
And the pins.
Well. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I'll change the pins.
I think my financial institution might have a word with me. Take a dim view. So wait. That one's bare-chested too. I thought that was a top, but it isn't, because there is quite distinctly a nipple here.
I can't imagine there being too much in the way of uniformity in uniforms in a barbarian unit.
No, there wouldn't have been.
And I imagine it gets a bit cold in the frozen north.
Well, they're not all in the frozen north.
Well, okay, if he wants to get turned on, let him have his nipples.
Demonworld's all about the nipples.
Yeah, there is a fair bit of them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it has the nipples on point, so to speak. So what's on for the rest of the day?
Well, instead of trying to, well, what I was going to do instead of trying to fix Discord, because it's just not working on 2 out of 3 platforms for some reason, and no reason I can figure out, no helpful error messages to look at. I was going to be applying decals to a model kit that I'm not anywhere near finished, but
It's the
so much easier to get at the torso before you put the legs and the arms on.
Oh yeah. So that's the Evangelion model.
Yes, it is. I completed the torso last night.
Brilliant. This was.
And it's looking at me like a weird sort of yellow prawn.
Was this pre-drinking or post-drinking?
Oh,
was
no,
pre-drinking.
then it wasn't last night, it was the night before.
Right. So much pre.
Yes.
And, did you get an email from Frontline Hobbies this morning?
Sure.
Saying we've got up to 65% off Bandai.
Didn't get that.
So it's terrible because now I'm sitting here attempting to spend your money as well. Mind you, you did just tell me to send you my credit cards, so all's fair.
Yeah. Do they have anything I'm actually interested in? Because I'm very particular about the ones.
That's a question I can't answer.
See, I'm looking at the sales, and I've built most of these.
Right.
And not that good discounts.
No.
20% off.
Yes. What they do is that they find one item, they mark it down 65% because it really is crap and nobody actually wants it, and then they mark everything else down by 10 or 15%, or 20, and then they go up to 65% off. And I say sometimes it takes ages to hunt through to find out which thing they actually had discounted by 65%, and you look at it and you go, I can see why. Speaking of which,
here's one that I do want. It's only 7% off.
Yeah, right.
And here's the kit that I did buy. It's only $101.59. 20% off. So I guess I paid their price from my local retailer that is within walking distance of my house.
So, not a spectacular sale from your perspective.
No, I mean, I've built most of these ones that I'm interested in. And the ones that I am interested in aren't in until June, July, sort of.
Yeah.
According to these dates.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah. Or they're
One of,
sold out. No
yes,
easier.
yeah. One of the other things that War and Peace were doing was liquidating their range of Citadel dries. So every single one of those they discounted by more than 50% that I didn't already have. I went, good, I'll have one of them. Even if they're dried out and nasty, I'll just chuck them in the bin because $3 a pot is a heck of a lot better than $6.50 a pot.
True enough. How can you offer 7% off on a product that you don't have?
Yes, it's a good question. I don't have an answer.
Yep, every single kit that they've got that I'm interested in is either at a bad price or I've got it.
Right. Well, there you go.
Time to look at train sets.
Train sets. Oh boy.
Those are all out of stock too.
I need to contact them to see if they can get the track that I want. Because nobody seems to have any stock of it.
So, I'm a real novice on trains. I've never owned a train set in my life.
Right.
How much interconnectivity can you go between brands of track within a single scale? Like if you got three different, say, engaged manufacturers, can you mix them together? It's not a standard connections, I suppose.
Well, I mean, see, that's a resounding. It depends.
Uh,
If
I don't
if
like
the,
those
if
answers.
if the manager adheres to the NMRA standards, then yes. But the wonderful thing
But
about
they don't.
standards is there are so many to choose from. So
Hmm.
you've got rail gauge height and all that kind of stuff. That's one thing. Then you've got wheel profile. There's another thing. And you've got control system. There's another thing. So, I mean, my stuff's primarily American prototype, primarily Union Pacific. So I have a range of Atlas, Cato, Barkman, all sorts of stuff. But along the way, some of these locomotives I've had to change couplers on because the couplers were wrong. I've changed the wheels on all the rolling stock. I went from when you buy a piece of rolling stock, it comes in a nice case and all that kind of stuff, but it's got plastic wheels on it. And the thing about plastic wheels is they generate static electricity. They pick up dirt and crud off the track and they roll it around the track. So if you've got one piece of dirty track, plastic wheels will ensure that that piece of dirty track makes every other piece of track dirty. So everything I've got, it's got metal wheels.
Fair enough. How much did that cost?
You add You add about $4 to every piece of rolling stock by doing that. There or thereabouts.
That's
So
not
you're
too
paying
bad.
between $20 and $25 each for a piece of rolling stock, or I was buying them off bargain bin tables, so anywhere between $12 and $24 for a piece of rolling stock, and that becomes $16 to $28 per piece of rolling stock. So, yeah, you're adding a percentage, but it isn't ridiculous. And the ease of maintenance and the quality of running and all that kind of stuff more than pays for itself. And just, I don't know, the aesthetic of it from an oral perspective, because
Sounds better.
oh yeah,
Clickety clack, clickety clack.
you know, an 86 car train crashing over a set of a switch and a set of points is a very satisfying thing to watch. Um, so, and I've got a digital control system, and it's a Digitrack system, so it runs to a certain standard, and as long as I'm plugging things in that adhere to that standard, they all seem to work. But in the layout I had up in Emerald, which was just a loop that was folded in on itself, it was really just there to run the trains. It wasn't scenic at all, although I had started putting scenic stuff in, like tunnels and stuff like that, but it was crude. I'd laid a certain set of track, which was the Atlas Code 55, and I liked it, and I had good results out of it, so I want to use it again, and no one in Australia seems to have it, so.
Typical.
Yeah. I'm reasonably sure when I put the layout together in Emerald that I purchased a box of it from overseas. So, I don't know, that was 10 years ago. So, my memory doesn't go back more than about 10 hours. So, yeah, like, again, pay a little bit more for the track, but what you get is you get something that looks prototypical. When you've got a big locomotive sitting on the rail looks small. So Pico do a code 55, but all they did was take their code 80 rail and sink it down into the plastic tyres a bit deeper. So there's more rail there, which means they're stiffer, which means more work to get it to conform to curves and stuff. Some people love it. Some people reckon it's bulletproof, but when it comes time to mating this sort of fake code 55 up with code 55 switches, oh boy. Now you've got to start filing rail profiles and doing all sorts of nasty stuff with joiners, and it's just like, oh, I don't think so, thanks. I'll just use Atlas track and points and crossovers and whatever. Oh, yeah, we're talking about toy soldiers and Gundams and everything like that being expensive. I think
Yeah.
a single Switch at the moment it's between $35
$100,
and
isn't it?
$40. No, between 35 and 40. If you're going for silly stuff like double slips and things like that, then yeah, they're hideously expensive. But I've got enough room on this layout that I don't need to play with that sort of foolishness. You know, your double slip is there to save space, and I don't need to. I mean, railroads, again, because it's an American prototype, don't use that stuff if they can avoid it, because it's expensive to put in place and it's expensive to maintain. So they're real rarities, those things. Anyhow, the train set's not happening this year. I guarantee it. It's not happening this year.
What you need is some Napoleonic trains in Napoleonic scale.
Yeah.
That might encourage you.
Well, N's smaller because it's, again, too, it depends on whether you're American or whether you're UK, because American N is 1 to 160 and UK N is 1 to 144. In the same way that American HO is 1 to 87 and UK HO is 1 to 76, I think. Maybe I've got that wrong, but they're different. And that's because the UK loading gauge is so restrictive because their tunnels were a lot smaller. So the ratio of, you've got the track gauge. When you plonk a British locomotive on it, it barely overhangs. When you plonk an American locomotive on, they overhang by a fair way. So they scaled the models to the gauge of the track. And
can't have nice things.
What is HO? 16.5 millimeters or something. Rail center to rail center. N is 9 from memory. I haven't looked at this stuff for a long time, but
HO 16.5. 1 to 87.
Yeah. Well, again, 1 to 87 for the American stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just going to avoid trains. Enjoy them vicariously at the model franchise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It can get very, very expensive very, very quickly.
And I'm totally prone to buying the wrong thing and expecting it to work and then getting upset when it doesn't.
If you, like, the Pico starter sets that were, became super popular because they did the Hogwarts Express type stuff. They're really bulletproof. Like, you buy the box, you open the box, set up the oval of track on your dining room table, plug it in, put the train on the track, turn the controller, and they run. They'll run all day, every day, for years and years and years and years. Whereas when you're mucking about with the stuff that I'm mucking about, trying to get something that looks aesthetically plausible, all sorts of shit can go wrong. That layout that I had sitting in Emerald, I was driving it all via a tablet because I had a Java train control system installed on a Raspberry Pi that was connected to the main controller, and I could set line routes on the tablet. You just click a button on the interface on the tablet and it would, throw 3 switches and change the signals and all that kind of stuff. Just programmed to do it all in sequence, which is great fun. But it takes a bit of setting up.
It's not worth.
What we need Clee to pop in at about this point, because he's building switch motor controllers out of Arduinos.
How was your catch up the other week?
Yeah, it was brilliant.
It was last weekend, wasn't
it? Yeah, he came around late in the afternoon and we chewed the fat for hours. I ended up dropping him back at his brother's place at about 10. I think we had dinner and just chatted. It was great. He dropped off some stuff that he's been hanging on to for me for months and gave him an equivalent amount of stuff back, so he's fast running out of holidays. He'll be back at work on Monday.
He's not getting time off to repair his flood damaged home?
Well, he's mostly there because there was no damage to the house.
Well, but no one from Victoria is going to go up and have a look because you can't get it because it's full flood damaged and the road's gone. I'm trying to come up with excuses. Screw it, where are my tweezers?
He'll just rage paint some ponies.
Yeah, I still want that t-shirt.
Yeah. Did you notice the last blog post I put out had his miniatures in it?
I did. I thought, is there a different standard to the usual sort of thing that goes up in these posts? Oh, wait a minute. Photography and painting by Cleveland.
Yep.
I didn't think I'd known you could do it in dwarves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. I haven't. So
Yes.
Yeah, I've got them. Well, the ones I'm taking to Gen Con anyway, I've got them. But I've been behind on blog posts just because I can't paint miniatures fast enough. So he did me a huge favour there by bringing those photos.
Well, it helps that he's actually bloody talented too.
Yeah.
He's a bloody good painter.
Yeah. He spends a lot more time per figure than I do. Yeah, we were comparing notes on silly purchases. Over the last 6 months, he's managed to pick up 5 Warhammer Fantasy armies.
just to strip him back to bare and
Well, yeah, some of them.
do it himself.
Yeah, some of them. Like, lots of guys buy lots of stuff and, assemble half a dozen bits and pieces and then lose interest and decide they want some of the money back and move them on. That's pretty common. So, you can get half painted, badly painted and badly assembled and, mixed bag boxes of stuff for, reasonable amounts of money. When you compare what it would have cost to buy new, you just,
Mm.
you have to be looking at the right sort of online places.
Well, don't tell me about these things. I don't need to know them.
No,
Oh no, you can tell me about them. I just don't need to know the right sort of online
right.
places.
Yep.
What's that? You've got a spare Bretonian army?
Oh,
5,000 points?
good luck getting a
No.
Bretonian army. Good luck. And good luck paying any reasonable price for a Bretonian army.
What do you think I asked you not to tell me about these places? I know I can't afford these things.
Bretonian army will set you back pretty much as new cost.
Mm.
Because it's getting very, very difficult to find. And because
Well, they
the
haven't
army...
made it, is it?
No, because the army got squatted. So...
Mm.
And people love the aesthetic of the figures. So there are people that have been doing nothing but collecting any second-hand Bretonian stuff that's come up for the last few years. This guy's got...
Well, it just means they've got good taste.
Yeah.
It's an odd way to hold the sword.
Yeah. So I gave that guy bare legs, and I've done all of the rest of them as pants. Never mind, that works. Well, you know how we were talking about uniformity in barbarian
Yes,
units.
exactly. If he doesn't want to wear pants, he doesn't have to wear pants.
No. It's the modern world. Working from home.
Yeah, true.
Pants are optional. Just don't stand up in meetings.
Yep. Or take your phone to the toilet with you.
Yeah.
One of the old ducks was telling a story about her daughter, a senior state government public servant,
Right.
and how embarrassed and mortified she was, and how she'll forever be working from home now because she took her conference call into the lab with her
Right.
and did not mute her microphone.
Yeah. Fail.
So she's so embarrassed that she'll never go back into the office. She'll just continue to work from home.
I find that highly unlikely. That's just going to be a funny story that people tell at the
Senior,
Christmas parties.
maybe, but we don't have Daniel Andrews up here.
No.
He's trying to get your public servants back to work. Ours aren't. I saw a really interesting report out of the IRS, the American Tax Agency, yesterday.
Yeah.
Almost 100% of their workforce is work from home at the moment.
Yeah.
They have a rate of answering telephone calls 1 in 5. They answer the phone 21. They answer the phone 21% of the time, and they show up for work in air quotes, half the time.
Right.
Work from home.
Work is in quotes.
Yeah. They're still collecting a paycheck for it. But
You know, the American government's still collecting tax, so...
yeah.
Well, nobody's been complaining that their tax hasn't been collected, are they?
No.
I just remember I used to work
Well, they
for
don't have to.
I used to work for Census for a period of time, only because I was working for the Trading Post when Census bought the Trading Post. Moved over to Census, and the head of the department that I was working in, he was a Telstra lifer. He'd been transferred over to Census, so he'd been with Telstra 20-something years, a long time, and they had a management meeting. It was fairly early, I think, on a Thursday morning. I think it started at 7:30 or something like that on a Thursday morning. Anyhow, he would wander into the office with his cup of coffee. He would dial into this phone call, because completely open office plan, right? And he had the corner desk, and he'd dial into this thing, and he would announce his presence, put his feet up on the desk, hit mute on his phone, and go to sleep. And we knew he was asleep because he snored.
That's not bad.
It didn't
Most
inspire the
meetings are like that in my experience.
troops, let's just say. It didn't inspire the troops.
I suppose you can get away with it back in the telecom days.
Well, this was census. This is not the telecom days.
No, but he was, telecom. If he was a Telstra lifer,
Oh
he'd been around for 20 years at that point.
yeah. He would have come up through telecom, but this was 2007, 2008.
Dear.
Yes. That place very nearly ended my IT career.
Well, if that's your role model to go for.
Oh, I wasn't worried about him. There was all sorts of other really stupid stuff going on there. Unbelievable. Silo building. Power playing. Dick waving.
That's not what I'm laughing at. I'm laughing at how you said 58 minutes.
For what? Oh, I did. Right.
Because it's now 59, and yeah.
They're flat.
Well, they're not flat. They're going flat.
Yeah.
I think they're really distorting your voice, and I imagine I'm coming through the same.
Yeah. Time to go on to speaker.
Well, I've got nothing that plugs into a 3.5mm headphone jack anymore. So I may just have to outright bow out of the conversation and continue watching. Because Discord is still not working. I've installed it and uninstalled it. I've installed it as administrator.
Yeah.
There's something in its most recent update that has just given me problems because it comes up with the updates. These are the new updates windows, and they're largely jokey updates, as they always are.
Mm-hmm.
It's there for a split second and then it crashes.
All right. Have you tried clearing your browser cache?
No,
That might be worth a go.
not a bad idea.
Well, looks like the latest round of changes haven't worked. So I'll just continue to paint these. In a quiet but purposeful way. Alright. Yellow done. Some leather going on. Do this in 2 passes. One pass for the shoes, another pass for everything else. So it's actually going to be 3 passes because I need to do quivers. Clean a bit with a brush. Bristles going all over the place. Right. Shoes done. And quivers. Use a military green for that. Sadly, that one's going to take a lot of mixing. Too much. I don't want to use the vortex mixer because it makes a nice nasty noise. Maybe a buff. A buff. Oh, those two are round the wrong way. Here's a buff. So these straps in here will have to be leather as well as the belt. Oops. has no quiver. Right. Sashes. I assume, Matty, that you're in listening mode only.
Hello.
Oh,
Nope.
there you go. I can hear.
Yes, microphone takes a little bit to warm up once it gets plugged in. But yes, hello. Discord has finally decided it's going to work for me.
Less operationally challenged.
Yeah.
Did you figure out what it was?
Nope.
Okay.
Just started doing it all by its own.
So
I would say that there was something in the back end. Maybe they're just trying to silence me for misinformation.
Possibly.
In line with their new privacy policies.
Who is she?
I have no idea.
Never mind. That was a bloody awful joke. We'll just move on.
Oh, come on. I'm still a little bit hungover.
It's all right.
Yeah,
I've just
apologies
inflicted.
for the dying washing machine noises about half an hour ago when
The
my
headphones going
started
flat.
dying. The headphones went flat, and I think my phone automatically kicked over to the built-in microphone,
Yeah.
and it was feeding some washing machine noises in.
Ah, so they really were washing machine noises.
Yeah, and the washing machine is kind of dying.
I had to replace a bearing in my 3D printing washing device yesterday. There's an agitation impeller that swirls the liquid around in the container around the models to wash them properly. And there's a bearing in it. It's driven by magnets actually, which is reasonably clever, which means that you don't have to worry about seals in the container or anything like that because there's no hole in the container. But I fired it up and it made this awful grinding noise and was shaking and jumping and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's not good. Emptied the liquid out of it and had a look, and sure enough, the bearing in the impeller was gone. So that was good fun. No, they
Sounds
actually
like a messy job.
they well, yeah, because isopropyl alcohol, it's full of resin. They supply you one with the machine, with the tools and everything of the machine is spare bearing. So it must be a thing. I apologise for the dog noises if they come through.
Well, they haven't been to me. I don't know what gets picked up onto the stream, but yeah.
Well, you'll hear everything that everybody else hears because it's coming out of the same microphone.
Yeah, but sometimes things get routed a little bit differently through OBS. And anyway, it is something that I have noticed in the past. Sometimes you'll say, "Oh, sorry for the dog noises. I can't hear it in this conversation," but if I go back and listen to it, I can in the playback.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if Discord's applying its own level of noise pickup.
It does have that.
It does. Ross suffers from it pretty badly. Although we did get rid of those headphones. So
Speaking of the washing machine, it's just stopped and it's beeping, so I'm going to stop it beeping because it's bloody annoying.
right. Give it a kick. Okay.
Finally silence the washing machine.
Used an axe?
I gave it a kick like you recommended.
Yep.
Broke a toe.
I was watching a YouTube video yesterday, day before yesterday. It was a replay of a one-day game played between Australia and the West Indies in the 81-82 series with Pakistan. And I think it was, it was one of the last of the regular games. They hadn't got into finals yet, and there was a sharp run taken by a couple of the West Indian batsmen, and Rodney Marsh has run up and given the ball a big kick to try and get it on the stumps, and spent the next 10 minutes limping around. No steel cap in that boot. Really enjoying the nostalgia trip. Back when Australia were a good side, but they weren't the unstoppable juggernaut that they were in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Unfortunately, decals are a two-handed business.
push to talk doesn't work.
No.
If you'd asked me who I wanted to be as a kid,
Viv Richards.
would have been a blend of Viv Richards, Dennis Lilly, Michael Holding, Malcolm Marshall, Clive Lloyd.
It would be an odd-looking combination.
Would be.
Frankenstein's monster built up out of all of them.
Out of the world's cricket elite in 1982. Yeah. Lilly was well past his prime by 82, but he was still quick-ish and he could still take wickets. But, watching a young Malcolm Marshall come steaming in was just something to behold. Michael Holding always made it look just effortless, all rhythm and grace, and Marshall looked like he was hustling.
I like this blue and gold theme you've got going on.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, most of these figures are sort of muted browns and yellows.
Hmm.
And then that blue sash just pops out.
Certainly does. So this unit, I don't think I asked before. It's just another barbarian warrior unit, or is it
Oh, it's the
one of the
Archers
special?
unit.
Okay. I don't think I got one of those.
4501.
I got a unit of eagle archers,
Alright.
but I don't think I got vanilla archers. I should paint some Thane next.
You've got some?
Yeah, I should paint some next.
Right.
Once I'm finished with these Death Knights.
It's time to turn them into straw heads.
Well, I quite like these Death Knights because they're skeletal, but the armor and the weapons that they've got are obviously the armor and weapons from Knights of the Cleansing Dark, right? And so a third of the units figures in the unit have got helmets with destroyed feathery tufts.
Yeah.
But, hello, here's a chance to use purple.
Right.
Like the rest of them. Except for that one unit, I did all different colours, and I should just make them all purple for consistency's sake. But yeah, I thought that was a really nice touch. Obviously, I can't stop gushing enough about how incredibly detailed these ranges are. This Demonworld range. Buy it if you're not already.
Buy lots of it. Otherwise, I'll buy it all.
You sure you don't want to send me your credit card?
Let me know. Think about that. Or maybe I should have said, yes, I'm sure. Beautiful autumnal day here in Melbourne. Going to go and spend some time on two wheels after this.
Fair enough. Enjoy the day while you can.
Shall.
Anywhere special you headed, or just wherever the road takes you?
Well, the people that live in Powelltown will probably tell you that we're headed somewhere special, but I don't know that I'd necessarily agree. Nah, we're just heading out into the Near East. Probably roll a couple of 100 Ks and that'll be that. Probably won't be too much further. I don't know that the guy that I'm going with is ride fit either. So a few weekends ago, I did a couple of 100 Ks and I got home and it was like, yeah, that was too far. The concentration levels required are quite a bit higher than driving. So.
Yeah, I suppose you would have to coordinate your own balance as well as everything else.
Yeah.
Oh dear. And to think that I wanted to be that once
Be
upon a time.
be what?
The
A
guy
phone
on
archer.
the bike, well, maybe. No, the guy on the bike zooming past at a squillion miles an hour, taking in the countryside.
Well, this is the thing. If you're going at a squillion miles an hour, you're not taking in the countryside. You're too busy about the next thing you're about to run into. Because it isn't the speed that kills you, it's the very sudden stop.
Well, that's the same as gravity. It's
That's
not the
it.
fault that kills you, it's the sudden impact.
Sudden impact. I remember that line out of a movie I saw a very long time ago. Yes, fortunately the ground broke my fall.
Sounds like a Baldric line from... It's probably Blackadder Goes Forth.
It was a Henry Winkler was in it, and I can't remember the name of the film.
I watched Spaceballs the other day for the first time.
For the first time?
For the first time.
Wow. Did you catch the stunt doubles?
Mm-hmm. Mostly it just made me hungry. Like, I didn't care for it, to be honest.
It's not,
It was
it's
a
not his
little
best
too...
work.
No. A little too close to the parody material.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. I mean, same production companies and all that. It made me hungry for pizza.
Right.
I mean, Dom DeLuise is just hilarious.
He
And he played Pizza the Hut.
He did. He didn't feel like going out and buying himself a Space Winnebago?
No. No. I can't get one of those.
Todd did.
Not a space one.
Well, have you seen it? It's a spaceship.
Yeah, it is just about. No, the movie Stripes kind of. I can't even talk about that movie without breaking up until after.
Hmm.
Good movie.
There's some
Should
very
watch it
funny
together.
moments in that. They're my people. I love them. Paul, drop like a stone. Although, to be fair, that's a totally different movie. I watched the second Blade Runner again the other night.
I am yet to see that.
I enjoyed it.
Was it good?
I understand people's frustrations with it, but I really like it.
So I watched the Blade Runner anime that came out shortly. Well, it finished airing about 4 months ago, I
Right.
guess. No, not even that long ago. 3 months ago.
I haven't seen
I
that.
watched that through the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was too bad.
There you go.
A lot of people didn't like it.
Right.
I didn't think it was too bad.
Well, that was the other thing I did, as I purchased Cyberpunk 2077 on PS4.
On PS4.
Yeah.
Silly bugger.
Well, I don't have a computer that's capable of running it, and I don't have a PS5, so that I've fired it up. I've created a character. I've done the first couple of things. and I'm enjoying it.
Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying it, because that's a game that I quite like quite a lot.
Mm.
But I don't have it on PS4, and I would not play it on any console.
Yeah.
I mean, my computer is barely up to the task, and it blinks red lights at me after half an hour or an hour, saying, "By the way, we're overheating."
Mm-hmm.
And that's with a lot of the graphical settings turned down.
So, I've got a 6-year-old heading for 7-year-old cast-off ex-work laptop that permanently sits on a cooler base because it overheats when you look at it.
Yeah, I used to have one of those cooler bases with my last laptop.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work on this one because for such a ridiculously overpowered piece of equipment,
Hmm.
it's just not cooling up to the task.
Right.
And the vents, like, there's a lever in it that raises the unit up, like, from front to back. There's about 2 degrees or 3 degrees in it.
Yep.
So it opens up about 10 mil at the back over the length of the machine.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only air intake. There's nothing underneath it. There's no space that you could
Right.
force air into it from underneath. You got to force it in from the back.
Yeah.
Meh.
Well.
My last one had all its vents on the underneath, so that you could force air into it from underneath with
Yep.
a cooling
Cooler base. Yeah.
disc. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a problem. But yeah, this thing is not up to playing games. It just isn't. So
Well, you can play old games.
I've got Steam on it, and I've got some of the old UFO franchises and Torchlight, and a couple of real simple things. But I tend to just sit in front of the console if I want to play a game. It's on it.
We still need to play MechWarrior 5 together someday. That's
Yes.
crossplay.
When I figure out how to run around with the torso twisted without crashing into stuff.
Well, it's not like it's a death match, I think. That's a whole other game.
Yeah. Oh, there'd be no point in me playing deathmatch. I would just lose constantly.
Yeah, me too.
And that would be amusing if we were playing each other. Like you both lose.
Yeah, well, about half the time I fire it up for instant action, I get, CT grows critical and.
Yep. Yeah. No, I just got stuck. I crashed into something because I had a torso twisted because I was attempting to work my way around the flank of something and crashed into something, got stuck and died. I'm like, really?
That's I would try it again.
I just couldn't figure it
Some
out.
some of those first missions have got a really narrow terrain path to follow, but
Yeah.
once you get into the game proper, outside the tutorial, most of the maps are just wide open. The biggest obstruction you'll find is either crashing into a building or a crater.
A crater.
Yeah, and the crater's only got one opening,
But,
one gap in the rim for you to walk out of, and it
right.
takes up a huge amount of real estate.
I think the
But
crater
walk
will have
around
been where
crater.
my mech was.
That was funny though. The one time I saw an enemy mech CT go critical, explode, and take out another mech.
Right.
The explosions don't do that much damage. You got to be pretty much standing on top of it and
They were hugging.
no armor. And yeah. Like, you do a bit of damage to a flea or a locust, but
Right.
good luck getting a flea or a locust to be standing on top of a mech going critical.
Hmm.
They just go,
It's
bye.
like, oh, you're making some suspicious smoking and creaking noises. I'll just back off 10 paces.
Yeah, that blue glow is
It's
a
kind
bit
of
of a
telling.
giveaway.
Yeah. So here we are.
Here we are.
Born to be
Big blonde
kings.
blokes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colours. Not bad.
Not bad for a morning's effort.
Not bad. Yes. After I've done a little bit of the motorcycle thing, I'll come back and finish them off. I've also got a troll to finish.
Ooh, trolls.
I did a Tiskrang. Finished a Tiskrang yesterday. I've got a troll to finish today. Then a Vergigorm.
You hear that, Earthdawn fanboys?
What else? What did I get sent overnight? Obsidian. Obsidian.
Obsidian.
Yeah, so an Obsidian is curing at the moment, and I've got an Orc to do. And this is all in the lead up to the next Kickstarter.
Well, let's finish our current Kickstarters first, hey?
Absolutely.
Get on with it, Morgan.
That's what we're trying to do. Oh, he's on it. They're going as hard as they can. Like the Etherstream guys. They're going as hard as we can.
That's true.
Real life sometimes gets in the way. But,
yep.
And I do need to clean up because, my goodness, the area is like a bomb went off.
Well, that's just my default state of living.
Yeah, there are cables and bits of equipment all over the place. Big stack of boxes in the middle of the floor, and oh, goodness me. All right. Thanks, Matty. Sorry you had such technical difficulties today, but you look like you got through them.
Yeah, well, eventually.
Well, the important thing is you got through them.
I just wish I did something to that end and not have fate solve it for me. Enjoy your ride.
Yeah.
Don't come unstuck.
Yeah, I try not to. It is a nice day, but I will be ensuring that I have the right tyre pressures because that bike hasn't been ridden in a little while. I'll be taking Joe's bike today. Because the neighbour's ears need to bleed, apparently. It's obscene. It's obscene. It's loud with earplugs in.
That's loud.
It's loud. I reckon it's 150, 160 decibels. Anyhow.
Alrighty, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Matty. You too. And have a good weekend.
Try. Thank you.
And don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Fair enough.
Thanks, folks. See you next week. I reckon, just quietly, next week we could probably consider the anniversary of this.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Seeing as it's Easter, it'll be Easter Saturday. We'll just call it. Say I've been doing it 12 months because actually I think we're already past it. But you know, I have to set up something special. I don't know what, but brainstorm that during the week. All right. See you all anon.